In this video, I'll be sharing with you 10 nail designs that are easy and perfect for Christmas. I'm sorry this is going up so late in the month, but hopefully it'll give you some inspiration for a Christmas manicure if you need it. For all of these designs, I'm going to begin with a base coat to protect my natural nails and help my manicure last longer, and in this case, peel off easier, and I'm using a peel off base coat, but use whatever base coat you have and love. For this first design, I'm going to start with a milky sheer polish, and I'm applying 3 coats so it's a little bit opaque, but you can still see a little nail line through it. Next, I'm going to use a bright red nail polish, and I'm first going to mark 2 dots on my nails, and these are going to be the centers of 2 starburst shapes. And the easiest way to describe this is to make a T over those dots, and then curves in between each line, and then fill it in. And this is pretty difficult to do with nail polish. I recommend using paint if you have that, but you can totally do it with nail polish. And I like to drag each line out just a little more, just to make it a little more starbursty. And then I filled in the rest of the nail with some white dots and a white starburst. And this is just a really on-trend nail design right now, and it's super cute, and you can use any colors you'd like. For the next design, I'm going to begin with a white base, and I'm just using 2 coats of a white nail polish. Then I'm going to use a red polish, and I'm actually using a red polish that has a thinner brush because I'm going to be creating a plaid design, and I'm using the brush that's in the polish to create 2 stripes down my nail, and then I'm going to do a stripe across. If you need to, you can use a detail brush to get right up into the edge of the nail, but don't worry about this being too perfect. Next, I'm going to mix that red polish with a little bit of black just to get a darker shade of red, and wherever those red stripes cross over, I'm going to paint in a square, and I'm just going to fill that in with that darker red so it looks like those are overlapping and the color is darker. Then in between those red bold stripes, I'm going to paint some thin green ones, and I'm just putting them in between each one and trying to get them as thin as possible, but don't worry about it being perfect. And then I just dipped an angled brush into some nail polish remover to clean up around my nail, and I finished with a generous layer of matte top coat. For this next design, I'm going to begin with a piney green shade of polish, and I'm applying 2 coats of that and letting it fully dry. Next, I'll be using a thin detail liner brush and some white acrylic paint that I watered down just a bit so it's a little easier to work with. And I'm going to first create some vertical lines all over my nail in sort of a pattern. And then I'm going to roughly add in some sketchy dashes across each of those lines to make abstract evergreen pine tree shapes. This is so cute. You can do this as detailed as you want, but I think it looks really good if it's a little bit rough and sketchy. It looks like a sweater pattern or something. Moving along, for the next design, I'll be again using a sheer polish. This one is a little more pinky than milky, but it definitely has that milky sort of aspect to it. And I applied 2 coats of that to my nail. Then I'm going to use a white polish to create a French tip across my nail, but don't worry about it being too perfect. Then I'm going to take a green polish and create a little pine tree or Christmas tree. And I'm making sure that that is touching the white French tip of my nail. Next, I'm going to use this gorgeous glitter polish that has little pieces of white glitter and some silver glitter, and I'm going to apply that over top for a snow globe. Isn't this the cutest design ever? It is so precious. You can put any sort of design in there and top it with that glitter, and you'll absolutely be able to tell it is a snow globe. For the next design, I'm again starting with a sheer base. Then I'm going to go in with a red polish, and I'm going to create a half triangle across the tip of my nail. And then on the other side, I'm going to add another triangle, but I'm going to use this holographic sparkly red polish. And this is just a twist on a super simple French manicure. It kind of reminds me of a candy cane. And for the next design, I'm going to begin with a white base coat, applying 2 coats of that and letting it totally dry. Next, I'm going to grab a metallic gold polish, but you can use whatever color you like. I just really liked the combination of white and gold for this. It felt super classic. And I'm going to use a super long, thin liner brush, and I'm going to create a T right over my nail. It helps if you make a dot in the center of where those are going to overlap. And then between 2 of those lines, I'm going to create a bow and then some bow ties. And there you have a very elegant present manicure. It is so cute. This one is really cute to pair with an accent color like red or even glitter, and it's just perfect for Christmas. I'm starting to sound like a broken record, but again, I'm going to start with a sheer polish. I'm going to apply one coat this time so that my natural nail color shows through. Then with a red polish, I'm going to create a half circle over the tip of my nail. Next, I'm going to come in with a glittery red polish and apply a layer of that over top and let it totally dry. Then with white acrylic paint, I'm going to create a swirl over top of this, and you guessed it, this is just a really cute peppermint design. I think this looks especially pretty if you have rounded nails or an almond shaped nail, but you can totally wear this no matter what nail shape you have. And you can also customize this. If you wanted to, you could add some green stripes in or pink stripes in to make it extra pepperminty. It's totally up to you. I use white acrylic paint for this because I find layering it over top of nail polish is a little bit easier, but feel free to use white polish if you have that. And a little tip to prevent your colors from smearing, first apply a layer of the top coat just over that peppermint area and make sure you flood it, which means apply a generous layer and just pull it over top of that design. Then let that dry and you can go back over with a coat of the top coat and apply it to the entire nail, and your nail design won't smear. Sticking with the peppermint theme, for this next design I'm going to use a rose gold glitter polish. This one in particular is holographic, and then just to make things extra sparkly because it is the season 2, I'm going to apply this chunky rainbow but still rose gold glitter polish over top. It's very pretty and definitely a unique polish, and I dabbed that on so that the glitter was as evenly dispersed as possible. And then to make things easier on myself, I'm going to apply a layer of top coat over top of that and let it dry. Then I'm going to go in with some white acrylic paint and I'm going to create some diagonal stripes. I'm starting with 2 diagonal stripes to form a thicker band, and then I filled that in. And then I'm going to create 2 of those thicker ones, and then in between those thick lines I'm going to create some skinnier ones, and this just gives that peppermint sort of stripe look, and it's so cute. You can switch out the base color for this design to anything you want. A red glitter polish would look pretty. I really like the rose gold hue of this one, and I just think it's so fun. Moving along to the next design, I'm going to begin with a white base coat and I'm going to let it totally dry. Next, I'm going to use some green polishes. I'm using 2. One is a cooler kind of blue toned green, and then I'm going to use a truer evergreen color polish. And this is going to be a wreath. And to start off, I dotted the middle of both the top and bottom of where my wreath is going to be. And now I'm just kind of in my imagination pretending there's a circle on my nail. I probably should have just painted in a circle and then started filling it in with leaf shapes. I left gaps in the first color so that I could go back in with the darker evergreen color and fill it in. And as you can see, it ended up looking like a wreath. If I do this again, I'll probably just lightly sketch in a circle shape and then fill it in with the leaves. That way I know I'm going to get a actual circle wreath shape. And then I added a couple little red berries, and then to add some sparkle, I just went over with some gold glitter polish, and I really like how that turned out. Then I finished with a nice generous layer of top coat, and there you have a super simple wreath. And for the last design, I'm going to begin with 2 coats of a pink milky sheer polish and let that dry. Then on a tiny little detail brush, I'm going to use black acrylic paint that I have watered down so that it's easy to manipulate. And I'm going to create a black wire looping across my nail. You can do this in any fashion you want. You can make it loop, you can make it not loop, you can take it vertically on your nail, however you want to do this. And then I'm going to use a range of sparkly glitter polishes, and I'm just going to apply dots to either side of that wire to create this minimal Christmas lights nail design. This is so great because you can use whatever colors you have on hand. You can do them in solid colors, you can do them in one color, or you can mix and match like I did. It's totally customizable. And there you have 10 easy nail designs that are perfect for Christmas time. Hopefully, if you're still looking for a manicure to wear on Christmas, this gave you some inspiration. And if you do try out any of these designs, I would love to see it. You can tag me in any of your pictures on social media with my handles linked down below. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to stop by, and I hope you guys have a wonderful and very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I'll see you next time. Bye!